Yeah.
You want to like him, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. We straight gangsters over here.
Straight
man.
gangsters.
Ah.
Yeah, good morning and welcome back. You are listening to Scout Team Radio. We bring it to you hot and live each and every weekday morning. I am one of your gracious hosts. They call me Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
And only one other person believes that, and that would be this man. He's a great American. He's a great co-host. You all know him as...
America.
Yeah, it's your boy, Chris America, coming to you live this Thursday, March the 7th, 2019. And it is a beautiful day in the neighborhood, Loudbeard. But I'm going to have to do it to us. I'm going to start the episode off with some sad news. But at the same time, I feel like the message from this person brought some inspiration, a little bit of motivational Thursday. So it's sad, but the way they deliver this message, Loudbeard, it picks you up. Here we go.
The anticipation is
Hi,
killing
everyone.
me.
I have some news to share with all of you, and it's in keeping with my longtime policy of being open and transparent with our Jeopardy fan base. I also wanted to prevent you from reading or hearing some overblown or inaccurate reports regarding my health. So therefore, I wanted to be the one to pass along this information. Now, just like 50,000 other people in the United States each year, this week I was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Now, normally the prognosis for this is not very encouraging, but I'm going to fight this, and I'm going to keep working, and with the love and support of my family and friends, and with the help of your prayers also, I plan to beat the low survival rate statistics for this disease. Truth told, I have to, because under the terms of my contract, I have to host Jeopardy for 3 more years. So help me, keep the faith, and we'll win. We'll get it done. Thank you.
And
What
of
a
course, if
class
you,
act, man.
Yeah,
What a
if-
class
if-
act.
If you don't know who that voice is, that of course is Alex Trebek, one of the most infamous people of all time. The long-time host of Jeopardy. Little do people know he's not the original host though, but the host, the one that named synonymous with Jeopardy. And I just wanted to play because it is a little bit more motivating than it is depressing because of his demeanor, because of his will to fight this thing. So if you got something going on right now, just think of Alex Trebek and what he's going through and how he's fighting it, and just go about your day, the rest of your day with the spirit of Alex Trebek.
Yeah, it was sad news because I think at one point all of us have had an opportunity to watch Jeopardy, and you kind of, this guy is kind of that icon, that the man that we all know to be the voice of Jeopardy. And when you watch shows growing up and you kind of feel like you know these people, even though you've never met them before, you feel like you know them. And when you get a heartfelt message like that from a guy that you see on TV, a guy that, it seems like it's somebody you know, it's kind of sad and depressing because of the news, but he's handling that perfectly. Again, I said class act, 100% a class act. He's coming out there and he's letting his fans, he's letting the people know. He's saying, hey, this is not usually a good thing, but I'm telling you right now, I'm a fighter. I'm going to do everything I can to win this battle, and I'm going to keep doing what I do. I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to continue to do my job here at Jeopardy. And so, man, you're right. This was sad news, but at the same time, very motivational. I feel good about the message that he's saying. And I like that he came out and it wasn't media reports that were leaked and all this speculation and all this. And, he came out and he said, this is it. I found out this week. This is what's happening, and this is how I'm going to handle it, and we're going to move forward from it. And to me, that's a lot of celebrities should take note, and that's how you handle things in the media.
Yeah, definitely, man. You can't say enough. He's definitely going to be one of those guys that when he does retire, and eventually we're all owed a death, right? So, and eventually he does pass on, whether that's with this cancer or 20 years from now from old age, whatever it is. He's going to be one of those guys when he does pass the torch to somebody else. We're all going to go, this guy sucks. He's not Alex Trebek.
Now, do you know how old he is?
I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say 73.
So my wife and I were talking about this last night, and I believe she told me he was 78 years old.
Okay. So a little bit older than I thought, but I knew he was in his 70s. He's been around since like 83.
Yeah.
Like 35 years, man. So you got to think.
I'm surprised he's still working.
That's one of those jobs where, I don't want to say his job's easy, but it's definitely one of those jobs where you can see that you would enjoy it. You would love going to it every day. It's fun.
It's like Bob Barker was like 108 when he retired from Price is Right.
110, but yeah, right around there.
Oh, that's close. It was close.
I'm pretty sure like most people thought he was dead at some point, and they just kind of had like a ventriloquist moving his arms around.
Yeah. I will say, though, that transition from Bob Barker to Drew Carey, it wasn't so good at first, but I don't know. I still don't even think it seems right. Of course, I work all day, so I don't even get to watch it that often.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that when you see it for long enough, new generations come up, and they don't even remember Bob Barker. It's kind of like with Madden. Kids don't even know who Madden is. They just know it's a video game.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And like you and I, we don't remember Madden as the Hall of Fame coach. It would, I don't know, it would just be kind of like if Urban Meyer never coached again and hosted Saturday Night Football for like 20 years. Like our grandkids will have no idea about Urban Meyer, the football coach.
Nope, they will have no recollection. Now, I just want to mention that we do get interactive on the Twitter line this morning. We're already getting some tweets in from Ian Sane_sports, a good friend of the show, Ian. Now, he had a good topic that we're going to get into in a few minutes here that he had tweeted before the show even started, but he did mention that he had a friend that had suffered from pancreatic cancer that they lost a few years ago, him and the other guys over at Rehab Sports Guys. So, cancer affects everybody. There's thousands and millions of stories out there of family members and loved ones. It's serious business. So, I hate to hear that. He said hashtag Dan the Man. So tribute to your friend that you have lost, Ian. It's sad, and I know that's tough probably hearing that news come up. But, we move forward and we try to be strong, and Alex Trebek is trying to be strong for his family and for his listeners and for his friends, and that's all we can do at this point. That's all we can do.
Yeah, I can't wait for the day that we finally find this cure for cancer. I don't know what that is, when that is. I'm hoping it'll be in our lifetime, maybe within the next 10. Again, we talked about how, no kids know who Bob Barker is. We have no idea what it was like when smallpox, measles, polio, those types of diseases that ran rampant all the time were finally cured. So I'm hoping that we can watch that transition in time in history, is to see cancer be like smallpox, measles, polio, those types of diseases that we've found a cure for, and move on with life. And so we don't have to have so many people say, I know this person, I know that person. Everybody, like I've had like 3 or 4 people in my family affected by cancer. So yeah, man, let's all fight through the day like Alex Trebek. That's all I got to say. I'm getting all emotional now.
All right, so we're going to move into a different topic because this kind of saddened the morning to start us out. But we're going to move forward because we're going to... What picks you up?
Hating on LeBron James.
That's where I knew you were going to go.
Yeah.
And this is going to set you up perfectly because I don't know if you knew this or not, but last night was a big night for LeBron James, passing Michael Jordan on the all-time scoring list to move to number 4 overall. This is a great day for LeBron. We need to celebrate the greatness and what an amazing figure he has been in the sports world.
What was the score of the game?
So we're going to talk about this individual accomplishment. We're not going to worry about the 115-99 beatdown the Nuggets put on the Lakers last night.
All right.
I mean, do we really even need to talk about the game? Because isn't this just all about LeBron and his greatness?
It is. So we're going to congratulate him, and like a good basketball player, like a good hockey player, sometimes you need an assist. So I'm going to go to a guy on Facebook who commented on ESPN Sports Center celebrating this thing. I'm going to go to him. CJ Graves, thanks, buddy. I just read your name online or on a radio show without your permission, but that's okay. You shouldn't post online if you don't want people reading your name on the radio show. He said, congrats, LeBron, on having 1,200 more career turnovers than Jordan. Congrats on attempting 3,200 more three-point shots than his airness. Congrats on playing 120 more games than the GOAT. Congrats on playing 5,000 more minutes than Mike. Congrats on 6 more final losses than the real king. So congrats. I like that. Congrats.
Okay, so stats don't lie. This is hard because I like LeBron, and I do think he deserves credit for what he has accomplished. But when we look at him compared to Michael Jordan, I'm always going to go Jordan over LeBron, always 100%. And this guy is right. CJ, whatever his name is, I don't care about. He is right because Michael Jordan spent 4 years in college, took 2 years off to go play baseball, and won 6 championships, and still was number 4 scoring. And LeBron has passed him, but LeBron didn't go to college. He went straight into the NBA. And he has put, 40-plus minutes in every night and gone to all these games, and it was harder for him to get to that scoring mark. Does that diminish what LeBron did? No, it shouldn't diminish what he did. It's still an amazing accomplishment, but it doesn't translate to him being better than MJ or it being a greater accomplishment than what MJ did. No. MJ did more with what he had, and it was I don't know. I want to say that. So again, let's not take away from LeBron, but let's still recognize that the GOAT is the GOAT. You're not going to say MJ is better than or LeBron is better than MJ. MJ will always be the GOAT in my eyes.
Yes, it's quality over quantity for me, Loudbeard, and the quality of minutes that Michael Jordan put in, to me, just have more quality than what LeBron James has put in. And again, like you said, that's not to diminish it. And I feel like I'm not a LeBron hater. I'm more of a LeBron fan hater. I hate more of the fans.
Okay,
like, it's not LeBron's fault that he's constantly compared to Michael Jordan. I don't know how many times he's ever come out and said, I'm the greatest of all time, or I'm definitely better than Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or any of that stuff. Me, when I hate on LeBron is when I see a Laker player having to push LeBron James towards a guy shooting a three-pointer just to get him to play some defense. That, to me, is when I start hating on LeBron.
Well, this year's been a total train wreck. We already know that. So you're just pointing out Laker. Can't we talk about when he willed the Cavs to beat the Golden State Warriors in the finals? Can we talk about the greatness of that?
So,
like, I got to go rehash things from 5 years ago to make this sound better, right? Like, this year is total disaster.
So when this occurred last night and he broke the record, I asked my friend who's a Miami Heat fan, I said, the more and more that time has passed, I feel like you're right. Like, he told me when LeBron James left that it was a huge mistake, that he should have stayed in Miami. And I was like, dude, you're just being a Miami Heat fan. You're just saying that because he left your team. You can't be mad at him because he left the Cavs to go to you. Like, you guys got your rental player, and now he's gone. But I started thinking about it, man. I think Pat Riley would have continued to build a team around LeBron James. He would have just plugged in new pieces when the old pieces got old, and he would have had far more success. Now, I think the winning in Cleveland, coming back down, 3-1 and all that is a good feather in his cap, and it's a good personal feather, but I don't know that it's going to be an overall legacy solidifier as far as comparing him to Jordan. I feel like he should have stayed in Miami. I think Pat Riley would have helped him out. Eric Spoelstra would have been a nice, calm pillar, that solid pillar that just stays constant in his career. And who knows, maybe KD would be in Miami right now instead of Golden State. Maybe Pat Riley goes to KD and says, come play with LeBron. We'll hook you up with some other players. We'll build you guys around, and it'll be one of the best showdowns in NBA Finals history is Warriors versus the Heat.
I mean, that's a great point. I mean, I think you're right. The Miami Heat thing, he could have stayed there. The worst thing he did was go to LA. Like, this is completely changed that. Now, going back to Cleveland, to me, wasn't a bad decision. Now,
No, it wasn't. It was just a personal one. I get it. It's his hometown thing.
right?
We mentioned
You're going to compare him to Jordan, and it's hard to compare. It really is. But you're right. That 3-1 comeback that they had, without that, so if he would have gone back to Cleveland and they would have lost in the finals 3 years in a row, that would have been completely different. That one win makes that all worthwhile, and he will be a legend in Cleveland forever.
Oh, forever, for sure.
Forever. He's
There's
solidified.
no doubt.
The whole state of Ohio has now welcomed LeBron back, and he's become the legend there. Like, he's the greatest Cleveland sports player of all time. Like, he's up there with Jim Brown. Like, it's those two dudes, and that's it, right? Like,
Right.
who else? There's nobody else that's comparable.
Baker Mayfield,
Well, yet to be written, that story.
Johnny Manziel.
He's welcome back to every strip club in Cleveland.
Tristan Thompson. No, not Tristan Thompson.
Come on,
JR.
what you go all
JR.
Kardashian on us?
Yeah. Let's see. And he got lucky to get that finals. He really did. I mean, I know it was a great comeback. I'm not trying to take it away, but I mean, there was a little bit of luck involved. Is there not? That they went down 3-1 and they won those 3 in a row. He could have easily gone 0 for 4 in Cleveland, but you're right. That's not what happened. He won it. It's a great feather in his cap. I just think that had he stayed in Miami, things would be different. And the more I think about these legacies of NBA players, the ones who stay on a consistent team, the ones who stay on a team for a long time, those are the ones that usually see far more success than those who bounce around from team to team.
Yeah, and I'm going to go a couple different ways here. One, you're saying bounce around. A guy like Kevin Durant, he bounced around and he won a championship elsewhere, but nobody's sitting there saying that, oh, that's Kevin Durant's championship. It's almost like, well, you went to the best team in the league, so they were winning championships without you. Like, you what are you doing there? Like, it's not your championship. It was the Golden State Warriors championship. So that doesn't help his legacy. Yeah, he's got his rings now, but it doesn't add any value to it. He didn't take that team there. If he would have stayed in Oklahoma City and brought that team to a championship, it would have meant so much more. That's why LeBron going back to Cleveland meant so much, because he took that team to it. But LeBron, you said lucky. He's lucky that he won one of those finals in Miami.
Oh,
there was
yeah,
a
for
chance
sure.
where San Antonio could have fouled Chris Bosh on the baseline.
One of the most frustrating. I bet you that still haunts Greg Popovich.
Yeah, I mean, that play. So they were almost losing that one. Miami fans were walking out of the arena at that point, assuming that they had lost that game. If it wasn't for a magical Ray Allen 3 and a basically blown play by the San Antonio Spurs,
By such
they would
a
have lost
veteran
that
team,
championship.
I should have known better.
And then that magical comeback with the Golden State, if they wouldn't have did what they did there, LeBron could be 1-9 or whatever, however many he's been to. He'd be the Jerry West of our era. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. Jerry West was, I think, 1-10 in finals back in the day, and he's the figure on the NBA thing. Like, he's known as being a great player. The logo. Yeah, I said the figure. The logo. But he's known as being a great player, but he was so terrible in finals. Another guy, Wilt Chamberlain, his record in the finals was not that good. But a guy like LeBron, same thing. These guys are still great players, but they're not the GOAT. They're not these Bill Russell, Michael Jordan type guys because they weren't clutch in the finals. And LeBron James is a couple plays away from having one championship and having 8 or 9 losses in the finals.
Yeah. Well, okay, so let me kind of re-say what I said or re-clarify. Obviously, I'm not saying that everybody who stays on one team wins a championship, because I believe if LeBron had stayed in Cleveland this entire time, I don't know that he'd ever have a team built around him to win a championship. He had to leave to get the pieces for him to come back and win a championship. And part of me puts on my conspiracy theory tinfoil hat and says that was the plan all along, that he got together and says, look, man, we're not winning this through free agency, and we're definitely not going to be able to get it through the draft, so I'm going to bounce for 4 years. I'm going to go get me some championship experience, and then I'll be back when you guys collect a few number 1 overall picks, and that's what he did. But I think the bouncing around to 2, 3, 4, 5 different times, that's where I feel like you hurt yourself. And he did win another championship, bouncing to 2 different teams. But I think going back to LA, like, again, it's hard to, you're basically hitting the restart button. You're having to build new chemistry and stuff. And I don't know, man, it just doesn't seem right. And when you look at guys that did stay, like your Tim Duncans, your Magic Johnsons, your Michael Jordans, your Kobe Bryants, like Kobe Bryant could have easily left halfway through his career when Shaq and all, like, the team imploded on them. Shaq and Phil left. He could have easily chased a ring and maybe gone and played in Detroit, or maybe gone to San Antonio, or maybe he could have gone to play with Dwayne Wade. I don't know where he would have bounced to, but there were teams that won championships. He could have gone to Dallas and played with Dirk. There could have been other opportunities for him to leave, but he stuck it through. He stayed with L.A. He rode out through some bad times, and then again, L.A. built a team back around him again when they did that big-time trade with Pau Gasol and all those guys, and they won a championship in 2009. That's what I think is the main key, is if you have consistency and you stay and you stay the leader of your team.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, I look at this accomplishment. Now, he was the top 10 in assists and points. That was a recent accomplishment. Now he's number 4 overall in scoring and passing MJ. But with how bad his team is, with all this controversy, with all this negativity around the Lakers, it almost diminishes a lot of what he's doing on the court. If he would have stayed in Cleveland one more year and these accomplishments would have been happening in Cleveland, they would have had like a parade for him. They would have been like standing ovation, moment of silence, like all this great stuff. But because it's in LA, he doesn't have the deep roots in LA as far as basketball roots. It seems like, okay, whatever. It doesn't seem like special, and it should be special. And I think his choice of leaving Cleveland, going to L.A., and it being such a terrible decision and everything imploding around him, because of that, these accomplishments really just don't seem like they matter that much.
And Ian Hall, tweeting at us again, he said Kobe tried to get traded in 2010. Yeah, I'm not saying that there wasn't there weren't times where all the players I mentioned didn't want to leave or didn't think about leaving. I mean, Michael Jordan thought about signing with the Lakers in like 91, 92. Tim Duncan was coming to the Orlando Magic. That was going to be a thing in the early 2000s. He was going to join Tracy McGrady and Horace Grant, Grant Hill. And that was going to be the original Big Three. The only thing that happened was he asked Doc Rivers if his girlfriend can fly in a plane, and like an idiot, Doc Rivers said, no, you can't have girlfriends on the team plane. And so he said, all right, I'm going to go with the Spurs. Who would have thought that Greg Popovich would be more lenient than Doc Rivers on that kind of thing? But
I know, it's crazy.
It happened, and the greatest team of all time was for naught for the Orlando Magic. It just didn't come to fruition. Grant Hill couldn't stay healthy. Obviously, Tim Duncan never came, and Tracy McGrady was left on an island all alone in Orlando.
The stories behind the Orlando Tragic, there's dozens of them, and all of them are so depressing. Between the Dwight Mayer, the Shaq
Victor
going to LA.
Oladipo trade, Shaq going to LA.
I mean, I've got so many stories where you're like, this team just doesn't want to be good, and no matter what they do. And I mean, the only other team in the NBA that is a little bit more tragic than the Orlando Magic would be the Portland Trail Blazers, and that is just because they have had 2 draft picks that have cursed their franchise. They're still good now, but picking Greg Oden ahead of Kevin Durant and picking Sam Bowie ahead of Michael Jordan, those 2 things are the only 2 things that are more tragic than what the Orlando Magic have done over the last 20 years or 30 years or 40 years,
Yeah, see, we've been able to, when we've had the number 1 overall pick, we've been able to make the right moves with that. And it comes with a little bit of luck of that number 1 overall pick does end up being good, because sometimes there's a consistent number 1 overall pick for everybody's mind, and they just don't pan out. Where when we got Shaquille O'Neal, that was going to pan out. We had Chris Webber. Remember, we drafted him, and then we traded him for Penny Hardaway. So we made the right move with, like, all right, Chris Webber had an okay career, but he didn't have a number 1 overall pick career. And so we made the right move of getting more picks plus spending Hardaway, and that took off like lightning in a bottle. And then we made the Dwight Howard draft pick, which a lot of people, you can hate on Dwight Howard all you want, but that was the right move. That was the best move that you can make with that pick. And he had a Hall of Fame career, in my opinion, on the Orlando Magic. If he would have retired and said, I'm done, and he didn't give us all of the story afterwards, I think we'd have a different opinion of Dwight Howard.
Yeah, if you look at just his time on the Orlando Magic, he was always the number 1 center in the league. He was 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. He was in the MVP conversation. He never won it, but he was 2nd, 3rd, 4th in that conversation 2 or 3 different years.
Slam dunk champion.
Yeah, slam dunk champion. Took the team to the finals with basically a bunch of role players around him, right? There wasn't any other stars on that team. So if you look back, and the Dwight mare is him leaving and leaving this franchise a mess, but in the trade when Dwight Howard left, Andrew Bynum, Dwight Howard, and Nikola Vucevic were the 3 centers that moved around teams, and there's only one of those centers that was an all-star this year. There's only one of those centers that's still considered to be a good player, and that's Vucevic, who at that time was a basic nobody sitting third-string center on the Sixers that was like a side piece. So, anyway, I digress, but the tragic Orlando Magic, they make me sad. I'm sorry, Chris Merrick. I'm going to cry again. First, you bring up Alex Trebek. Now I bring up the tragedy known as Dwight Mayer. It's crazy.
Oh, hold on. Mike Burlon.
Oh, this is thought-provoking right here.
Dwight Howard has Hall of Fame traps and shoulders for sure. What do you think he shrugs? At least 3 kegs. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna put it in kegs because Mike Burlon from Craft Brewed Sports will appreciate that. I think he puts. Now I'm gonna go 4 kegs, like 2 on each arm, grabs them, like grips them together, and just shrugs them up. Gets it going.
Dang, that's a lot of weight.
Dwight Howard is beast mode when it comes to just muscle weight and stuff. I mean, he makes that.
No, we're not talking
Metcalf.
pony kegs here. We're talking
we're talking full blown,
straight up.
Yeah. So he makes DK Metcalf look like a wimp.
Now, this is always something that was always weird with Dwight. I mean, his head looks so small because his shoulders are so big. Like when he was shooting free throws, I'm like, man,
he kind of looks
why
like
is his head so small? Like he needed to gain muscle in his head.
he looks like the Goombas from the Mario movie back in the 90s.
I mean, I liked him because he was a great player for my team.
Yeah.
But dude, I'm like, come on, man, you look funny.
And maybe that led to his immaturity and inability to grow up. Was his small head? I don't know.
It's like the end of Beetlejuice, where Beetlejuice's head gets shrunken. That's what Dwight Howard looks like when he's up at the free throw line.
Oh man, he should have gotten that taco neck so he could have shot better free throws.
Oh man, yeah, that's what he did. He needed to work his neck out, get that.
You remember
big
those
neck, dude.
Shaquille O'Neal taco neck commercials?
Yeah.
Where he
Dwight.
ate tacos and then he was able to shoot free throws better.
Oh, always living in Dwight's shadow, huh?
Yeah, if you...
I mean, Shaq's shadow.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the taco neck commercials, look up Shaquille O'Neal taco neck on YouTube or something. It's good times.
Yep. I agree. There's also that big neck guy that goes to prison all the time. That's all over social media.
I follow
Dwight
that
and
guy.
him should stand next to each other. That would
follow
be a
that
funny
guy.
picture.
It's him and there's another really scrawny white kid that's got this long neck, and it's thick neck, long neck gang. They're hilarious. The internet making scumbags famous just because.
Oh,
that's what we do in America.
This is the greatest.
If I were to time travel, I really just want to time travel 300 years to a high school history class just so I can learn how they cover our time period. That's all I want to do. I just want to see how people 300 years from now look at us and say, what the hell was going on back then?
This is my prediction. They're going to basically black out this time period and say, we don't even want to talk about there was no actual value that came out of this time period. Let's move forward.
150 years ago, we didn't have Twitter or Facebook. We had diaries. And when you read people's diaries from that time, they're all eloquent and things of that sort. And here we have just Just nonsense. Just utter nonsense going on the internet.
So instead of like the Diary of Anne Frank, we're gonna like 150 years from now, they're gonna be like the Twitter page of Chris America, and it's gonna be some monumental accomplishment, digital, I don't know, textbook that they're gonna do in history classes.
Yes. They're going to see R. Kelly losing his mind.
Oh, come on. R. Kelly? That dude is something wrong with him.
They're going to see stuff like, damn, the Lakers getting booed at home tonight on national TV.
Yeah, we want Kobe chants going on when LeBron's shooting free throws. That's what they're going to see. They're going to say, I thought this guy was one of the greatest of all time. Why are they chanting for Kobe? Who's Kobe?
I don't know. There's a Jordan message for LeBron? I wonder what that's all about. I wonder if it really is. I don't want to oh, it's from Josiah Johnson. Maybe he's saying, congrats on being a great basketball player, but you're still not as good as me.
All right. Well, Chris America, we're at that time. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. After the commercial, we're just going to talk about anything and everything we want to talk about. Maybe college basketball, maybe NHL, maybe NBA, maybe Major League Baseball. Maybe we will talk about Dwight Howard's tiny head.
When I'm working hard, I build up a thirst for sports. That's when I grab a cold 12-ounce sports radio. Ah, 12-ounce sports radio. Quench your sports thirst.
Scout Team listeners and friends of the show, I've got something special for you. It looks like 12-ounce sports radio has done it again. We have partnered with Rally House. You just go to the website 12ozsportsradio.com. Click on the banner on the right side of the page, and it will take you directly to Rally House. Rally House has some of the greatest, most unique sports items for that diehard fan, casual fan, and anybody and everybody out there that is special in your life. So go ahead and check it out. Once again, go to that website, 12ozsportsradio.com. Click on the banner to the right of the page, and you will get taken to the best sports merchandise website on all of the interweb.
Ring Central features all-in-one phone, messaging, and video conferencing. It's easy to use with unparalleled security. Ring Central simplifies things so you can grow. Call Ring Central to speak with a representative about a price for your growing business at 877-779-3860. Again, that's 877-779-3860.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite Patriot, Chris America, and I want you to listen every single weekday, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and on replays from 11 a.m. to noon of Scout Team Sports. Listen, George Washington did not cross over the ocean blue in 1492 to defeat the Nazis, so you can listen to the same tired national clickbait sports stories. So once again, tune in to us every single morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and then we replay from 11 to noon. I will see you there, and God bless America.
Welcome back. We want to thank everybody for listening in. It has been another great episode of Scout Team Radio, but we have a lot of greatness ahead of us. We will really dissect how Dwight Howard's head is so tiny. That is what you have to look forward to. Once again, he's Chris America. I'm Loudbeard. We bring it to you hot and live each and every weekday morning, Monday through Friday on 12-ounce sports radio. 6 a.m. live, and then we take the live show, we record it, and we drop it as a podcast. You can hit up that podcast at Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or anywhere you find a podcast, including our website, scoutteamradio.com. We are also partnered with Barn Burner. Barnburner is a podcast network based out of Toronto, Canada. We're proudly partnering with them. So thank you, Barnburner, and thank you to all of our Canadian listeners out there. If you want to get social with us, make sure you hit us up on Twitter. We have gotten super social this morning. We've got Insane Sports hitting us up on Twitter. We've got Mike Berlin hitting us up on Twitter. We have all of our great listeners and great fans reaching out to us on Twitter each and every morning. So we love it. We love it. So make sure you do that. So Chris America, man, Dwight Howard's head, real tiny.
Yeah, it's pretty small. Pretty small.
Somebody's head that isn't really small, Antonio Brown. His head has gotten really giant. He's gotten this huge ego. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are ready to just jump ship on this dude. They came out and said, we're going to trade him by Friday. So if you're ready, bring your best offer because we want this guy out. So we should know by tomorrow.
I feel like that kind of hurts them, don't you?
I don't think they care at this point. I think they figure, like, the longer this drags out, the worse it's going to get because Antonio Brown's going to continue to do stupid stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm going to forever remember that the Raiders got more for Cooper than the Steelers are going to get for Antonio Brown.
Yeah, but you know that argument there is, Cooper's younger. Cooper's contract was better and easier to take on.
I mean, I get there's more to it than just how good of a wide receiver they are. It's just funny.
It is.
If Antonio Brown were to enter the NFL draft this year, he would have to be a top 5 pick.
Oh, yeah, big time. So if you sat there and said, okay, over the last 5 years, the best receiver in that time period is ready for a trade, is ready to be traded, and all you have to do is give up maybe a late first, second, third round pick, you would be like, oh, I'd take that in a heartbeat. Teams want this guy because of his talent, because of what he does on the field, but he's become such a distraction for the Steelers. And, you know, the reports say that the Jets and the Cardinals are not interested in Antonio Brown. But one of the teams that did emerge as possibly rumored to take him is my Washington Redskins. If Antonio Brown is on the Redskins by this weekend, I will be jumping for joy. Absolutely excited, ecstatic. I would take him, even if we had to give up some sort of early first-round pick, compensation, second-round pick, whatever. I would be ecstatic to have Antonio Brown on my team.
You would have to pay $500 for him to shoot a cameo video saying, I'm glad to be on your team, Loudbeard, and I can't wait to listen to your show every morning.
It might be worth it. Might be worth it. I might do that. Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me.
And you know how this is going to go, right, Loudbeard? The trade is going to go through at 7:01 a.m. tomorrow morning, right as soon as we get off the air.
Yeah, I know. And then Monday morning, it's going to be lost in the news cycle because of everything else that happens on the weekend. We're like, we really want to talk about this, but it's already old.
You're not going to care. You're going to power right through. You're going to be like, I'm going to break down every single catch Antonio Brown has had throughout his career for the next hour.
Yeah, I might do that. It's great for radio, though, right? Like, people want to hear this. This is cutting edge.
Everybody loves hearing about the Washington Redskins.
We're talking about the struggles of being a live radio host in the morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Is all the great breaking news happens around 7:30 or 8, and we get to talk about it the next day. I mean, why can't they break news at 4 in the morning so that we can talk about it on our show? The struggle is real, listeners. It is real.
Yeah, especially
you
when
don't understand.
Especially when we have replays on 12-Ounce Sports Radio at 11, and then we have the Barn Burner Network playing our podcast, throughout the day. People are like, why are these guys not talking about the Antonio Brown to the Washington Redskins trade?
We're wondering it too. Head scratcher, right? We're head scratching over here. Poor us.
We should just fake it and just hope that that's what happens. Just if it hasn't happened yet, we'll just talk about how Antonio Brown got traded to the Washington Redskins. We don't even want to talk about the trade deal because who cares about that? The Antonio Brown is on the Redskins. Go Redskins.
I can hear ESPN. I can hear ESPN now. Like they're on like Sports Center Live. They're like breaking news reported by Scout Team Radio's Loudbeard and Chris America. This could be fake news, but it's being reported that Antonio Brown has signed with the Washington Redskins. And then like 30 minutes later, they're like, oh, by the way, the Bengals grabbed Antonio Brown. Those guys have no idea what they're talking about, and you should never ever trust them again.
I'd
I
take
would be
it.
okay with
I would
that,
take
though.
that kind of publicity.
Yeah, all publicity is good publicity.
Yep. Well, Loudbeard, I watched the score by LeBron James, and let's take a listen to it if we can.
All right.
If it'll play. It's
My
not going to
ears
play.
are wide
It's always
open.
not going to play.
Kind of like eyes.
Gets it to James. LeBron takes it to the rim and finishes with the left, and he's fouled. The legend of LeBron continues. He moves past his idol, MJ, for fourth on the all-time scoring list.
So it's kind of a routine play. I remember when Emmitt Smith broke the all-time rushing yard. It was like a 3-yard carry. It was kind of like that. It's kind of funny. Like you'd almost want it to be like a slam dunk or like a 3-pointer with somebody in his face, somebody like that. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's never as great as you think. It's not like it's like a game-winning buzzer beater that becomes like that of legend. It's always just like a regular average play because odds are that's what it's going to be is just a normal, hey, here's just a jump shot or here's just a little drive
I think
to
this
the
was just like a
basket.
drive to the basket layup. He got fouled. It wasn't even like a
Yep.
hard foul. But I do remember when Emmitt Smith passed, what was it, Walter Payton? I can't remember who's number 2 on the list. I'm pretty sure it's Walter Payton. When he passed him on the list, it was just like a routine run up the middle 3 yards, and they're like, yay, he got it.
Yeah. But it was exciting, but it was like, okay, it's just the normal, average,
Very
run-of-the-mill play.
anticlimactic.
Yeah.
They should
Now-
do that in movies. Like, all right, all we need to do is just get 3 more yards. And normally if it was a movie, it would be like he jukes out 5 people, runs over 10, and scores a touchdown with a broken leg.
Oh, well, you know what he could have done is pulled the Gordon Hayward. Now, last
Ooh.
night, Gordon Hayward
Ooh.
scripted the win last night for the Celtics. Celtics come back hot, beat the Sacramento Kings, and Gordon Hayward, he pulls the old, we call it the Aaron Gordon here in Orlando Magic because of the Magic, but Gordon Hayward makes a dumb foul with like 8 seconds left. One of the 3-point fouls where the team gets 3 free throw shots, and they end up tying it. So Gordon Hayward could be the fall guy, right? Like he makes this huge mistake. With 7 or 8 seconds left, they pass it into him. He drives down the court and makes the game-winning shot, and he becomes the winner and the big-time go-to guy for the Boston Celtics. That's what LeBron needed. He needed to make a dumb play and then come back and make a superhero play, and then that be the record-breaking moment for him. So Gordon Hayward was showing LeBron how it's done, because obviously Gordon Hayward's the next GOAT.
Yes, and it should be mentioned that the Boston Celtics are 2-0 since we released the episode called Struggle #Celtics.
It's true. We have done what...
We did our part for Boston.
Yeah,
we,
that's what we're supposed to do.
We
Thank you.
motivated them. We trashed their team. We trashed Gordon Hayward. We trashed Kyrie Irving. And we provided them with the bulletin board material coaches dream of.
Without us, the Celtics would not be on this
They would
dynamic
be 0-2
winning
right now.
streak. They're so hot right now. They're making clutch shots. And
they're doing all this on the road.
Yeah, they're doing this on the road. And last night, Kyrie doesn't play because he's injured. So this brings up the point that I need to ask you. Since we're going to hate on LeBron, we also have to hate on Kyrie because I feel like they go hand in hand. For some reason or another, they go hand in hand. But Celtics win again without Kyrie. And every time Kyrie is on the bench, it looks like it's a better team. They play better. They move better. Jason Tatum has 24 points. Al Horford goes 21 and 11. Kyrie's out. Hayward wins the game-winning shot. And now they're, I believe it's 9-2 on the season without Kyrie. Is this a better team without Kyrie Irving?
I think with everything that's going on with Kyrie and his attitude, I think so. I think nobody wants to play with anybody who is disinterested, not really wanting to be there, doesn't even know what his future is with you. It's awkward. It's tense. And then that guy leaves and sits down. Now you're playing with your other teammates who do want to be there, who want to strive to be great, who want to do well with this team, who want to see the Boston Celtics win, and they're all about your team. Then you start playing better. You start playing with more confidence. You start playing with more fluidity and all that other good jazz. So Yeah, I think they are better without that attitude that Kyrie brings to the court.
Okay. Hot take this morning. I like
Hot
it. And
take.
I'm with you. And, if Danny Ainge had a crystal ball and would realize that that's part of the problem, he could have traded Kyrie at the trade deadline and actually got a lot of return for him.
I wonder if
Maybe
he would
brought
have
in-
traded him straight up for AD.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, maybe the Pelicans would have done that. I mean, they would have had to have had a guarantee that Kyrie would have signed
Yeah, a
long
little sign
term,
and trade action.
but-
And I doubt Kyrie was going to do that, but
No, yeah, probably not. But still, there could have been some trade, even if it was draft picks. Danny Ainge loves draft picks. This guy's like the
He
draft
does.
pick hoarder. They should have a TV show after him, and where people have to go in and take dead cats out of his garage. He's hoards so many draft picks. And that would have been perfect. But honestly, if Kyrie leaves in this offseason, it might not be a terrible thing for the Celtics because they can focus on the development of their young players and, growing this team, and it might be better for them. Actually, I'm going to say it. It would be better for them. I agree with you. 100% it would be a better move. The Celtics are better without Kyrie.
yeah. And a team that's red hot right now, Loudbeard, they are making a playoff push, a playoff run like we have never seen before. They are 30 games back out of first place, but right now they are on a 3-game winning streak. The Suns are red hot right now.
The Suns are red hot. And yeah, I guess they're making a playoff push, but this is the bad news. I don't know if you realize this. Statistically, they are the only team in the NBA that is eliminated from the playoffs right now.
Are they eliminated already?
Yes, they're eliminated.
Then what the hell are they doing?
I have no idea. It's terrible. They beat the Knicks. So the Knicks
Especially
now
because-
are firmly the worst team in
Yes.
the NBA, and the Suns are making themselves look too good.
And the Bulls are out here beating the 76ers. The Cavaliers lost, so that's good for them. It's like if the Cavaliers lose and you're the Phoenix Suns, you don't lose or you don't beat the Knicks.
No. And this is the problem is, as an organization, the front office is probably sitting there like, what are you guys doing? You're idiots. The players, like Devin Booker, he did this whole, like, I'm going to have a big game tonight, and then he scores 40 points. He's like, yeah, well, the players want to play. They want to do good. They don't want to keep losing. They don't care about the draft next year. All they care about is going out and looking good and playing good and feeling good about their game. So as a front office, what do? You start saying, like, you played a little too good last night. Let's go ahead and rest you tonight. Let's play 10 minutes, Devin Booker. DeAndre Ayton, why don't you play 15 minutes? Let's put in Zaza Pachulia. I don't even know where he's playing, but if he was on that team, let's put in somebody that stinks so that we can keep losing.
Hey, what's
It's like
Earl the beer guy doing? Get
Yeah,
Earl down on the court. Get him a jersey.
the peanut guy, the beer
Do we have
guy, the
do we have
cotton
an
candy
X-
guy.
Do we have an XXXL jersey for Earl?
What's Christian Hackenberg doing? We could use his help. I mean, get them all in here.
Yeah, so I'm looking at them. Cavs have 16 wins. The Suns have 15 wins, and the Knicks, you mentioned it, solidly with 13 wins on the season. They are going nowhere. I don't know what the Cavs lost. I don't know what the Bulls and the Suns are thinking, but I think this is the number 1 overall pick for the Knicks to have. I don't think they're going to lose that spot.
Yeah, and I thought the Suns were going to have it, and then they go on this hot streak at the wrong time.
3-game winning streak.
Oh,
They could have
man.
12 wins right now if they didn't win 3 games in a row.
I don't get it. That's like last year, the Magic. If they would have lost the last game of the season, they would have been like 3 picks higher in the draft.
Yeah.
And they go out there and they win, and I'm like, come on, guys.
Well, I saw
Help
something.
me out a little bit.
Yeah. I saw something that the Lakers right now, or like 2 days ago, had like a 9% chance it was like a very low percent chance of winning the lottery for the draft. And if they lose like 2 more games and somebody wins 1 more game, they jump up to like 28%.
Oh, see, that's where it's at. 28% is a high percentage.
It is.
And a lot
that's
of the
why
teams.
that's why I think that the lottery helps more teams tank than it does prevent teams from tanking. Because you're in the Lakers situation, you're like, do I want to make the playoffs or do I want 28% chance of getting a lottery ball? I think I'll tank now.
Yeah. Now, I will say that typically, not typically, but a lot of times the worst team in the league doesn't end up with that number 1 pick. What will happen is like the second worst or the third worst team will get that lottery and jump up because they all have pretty good odds. So a team like New York, they may not even get that number one pick. The Suns could jump ahead of them, or a team like the Bulls or the Cavs. So there's no guarantee being at the bottom. So for the Suns to keep winning, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it maybe their percent chance does diminish a little bit, but you're still going to have a good pick no matter what. And this year it's the big Zion chase, and the Knicks want Zion probably more than anything else in the world. And where they're sitting right now, I mean, it looks pretty good for them, but the lottery is just that. It's the lottery. It's a game of luck. It's a game of chance, and it could be anybody's ball game. And I'm telling you right now, if the Knicks do not get that number one pick and they have the worst season, and Zion, who's supposed to be this legendary player coming out of college, Knicks fans will be jumping off roofs, man. They will be losing their minds if the Suns get the number one pick again, or if the Bulls come in and get the number one pick and he becomes like the next Michael Jordan. Like, they will absolutely, the Knicks, they will become part of the Orlando Tragic and Portland Trail Blazers series of just snake-bitten sports franchises.
Which, if you're in Orlando and you're jumping off roofs, that's okay because it's like one-story houses, so you'll survive that. But in New York, that's 50 stories.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's a splat. All you become is a stain on the pavement. Do not do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Knicks fans, do not do that. We don't need that. I don't want that on my conscience.
The team at Scout Team Radio, our lawyers would like to tell you that we are not suggesting anybody jump off roofs. If you do jump off a roof, do not blame Scout Team Radio because that's not what we meant.
Oh, speaking of jumping off roofs, real quick, big game last night in college basketball.
Is it roofs or roofs?
Roofs, roofs. I don't
Hooves?
care. Hoofs. LSU, big matchup. Number 10 LSU going up against.
I don't want to talk about it.
The Florida Gators. Game goes into overtime. Tough matchup.
Yeah, tough matchup.
Gators had the lead late, and the point guard for the LSU Tigers comes in. He ties it up, forces overtime, and then hits a couple big shots in overtime to seal the victory. 79-78. Your Gators are now sitting at 17-13, 8th in the SEC. Their chances at March Madness right now at the tournament, not looking too good.
Oh, we're going to the tournament.
Yeah,
the National
NIT?
Invitational Tournament. You say tournament or tournament?
Tournament. I don't know.
I kind of change it up.
Yeah,
just like
depends
I pronounce
how I feel that day.
I don't know if you've ever noticed this. I noticed it when I listen back to all our episodes. I pronounce New Orleans different every single time I say it.
It's like an awkward word for you. You feel like I feel
New
like
Orleans,
you struggle
New Orleans.
with it.
No, I go
New
back
Orleans.
and forth between New Orleans and New Orleans.
See, I've got a
and then
family
the logos
members out
call
there.
it like Narlands.
Norlands. That's how they say it. They say Norlands. It's like one word. It just flows Norlands. Now, I say New Orleans. I try to pronounce a little bit better, but yeah, you say New Orleans, which a lot of people say that too. I don't know. What's right? Who knows? Who are we? We're not the grammar police.
Well, that's kind of why I just say it differently every single time, because I can't make up my mind how I want to say it.
Now, we get in debates on Twitter all the time with Florida fans because I'm a UCF guy. You're a Florida fan, but you appreciated what UCF did in college football. But if the Florida Gators do not make the tournament and UCF does, how do you think Florida Gators fans will feel about that?
I think they'll whine and cry like they always do on Twitter.
It's unbelievable. I think yesterday, like Danny White was selected as like athletic director of the year by Under Armour, and then I saw this string of tweets, and it was like back and forth between UCF fans and Florida Gator fans, which gets really, really toxic quick. And they were talking about the college football season again. Like, the Gators fans are like, well, we beat LSU, and you guys couldn't beat them. And I'm like, can we not get past this? Like, we're still talking about this today. Like, come on.
Well, if we remember, Loudbeard, last offseason, I had a problem. I had a problem arguing about college football in the offseason. And this year, I decided, nay, I'm not going to do that. It was one of my New Year's resolutions. I'm not going to argue or talk about college football in the offseason. And it's made my life a lot better. I scroll through Twitter, and I see Gator fans talking trash to Miami fans. And I'm sitting here thinking, it is a long time until August, and y'all are going to just sit here and argue all spring and all summer long about Miami versus Florida. That gets exhausting. And then I notice the same people on Twitter arguing about Florida versus UCF, and Look, you're right. UCF's athletic program is coming up fast, and Gator fans just need to accept it, that they're not the big dog in the state of Florida anymore, that there's another dog in town, and it's a good dog. It's a solid fighting champion, and the basketball team right now is better than our basketball team. I think Dan Mullen has brought Florida football up to an equal par level. If you asked me a year ago if UCF or Florida was better, I would have said UCF hands down. And I think the UCF baseball team has beaten Florida like 4 times in a row now. So to my Gator fans, look, just get over it. It's okay for another team to be as good as you. Just say, good job. You guys are doing awesome. Congratulations. That's all you need to do. Don't whine. Don't cry. Don't argue. Don't make yourself look like an idiot troll. And listen to more Scout Team Radio.
Good, well said. Hey, tonight I'm going to be at that UCF Cincinnati game.
Nice.
Go Knights, beat UC. Mike Berlin, I know you're up in Cincinnati. I don't know if you follow the UC basketball program, but they're
Suck
going
it.
down tonight.
Suck it, Mike Berlin.